let's focus on something which we can grow and scale instead of managing tons of little things here and there, which is counterproductive. Hi there, welcome to a new episode of HubHype. How are you, Irving?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome.
Today was a stormy night. Things went all over the place, but I think we are safe, right?
Yeah, we are safe. So it was a little bit of an accident on the road here to Porto, but besides that, all good.
Besides that, with us, it's all good. I would like to start maybe with something that happened this week, which was already, everyone was already expecting that, which is the official sunset of HubSpot Insights. So that happened on Monday. So today is the 20th of March. So that happened, I think, on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Everyone was expecting that, of course. HubSpot was talking about that for a while, but now it's official. So everyone who was, and we are one of those companies, we were heavily relying to HubSpot Insights, the data enrichment of HubSpot Insights. We had workflows running and everything. So that data won't go away, but would also no longer be updated. And of course, new accounts don't have HubSpot Insights. A lot of people are screaming about it, but I feel like I was at the beginning, but I feel like the time has passed, and I kind of already accepted that that's when going away, and now we have a new thing and we have a better thing because let's face it, HubSpot Insight data was not always good or so accurate, and HubSpot is promising to give us better data, especially outside of the US in terms of enrichment.
Yeah, that's true. And it's like always. So if you take, so first of all, when we promoted the very first time, I don't know, 1 year ago, the insights possibilities, people were complaining about the data quality, etc. Now they are complaining, and I can understand that because when you take away something, a functionality which was not maybe crucial but maybe important to enrich the data, like revenue or industry or something like that, then they are disappointed. I totally agree that, but a lot of customers now really starting to think about using Breeze, so the homegrown functionality in HubSpot. Or we also have customers using Dealfront, which is for sure a competitor of Breeze, but we did an integration just recently, so last week, with Dealfront, and those data are also quite good. But it's a decision a customer really has to take about how do they want to enrich the data. There are different possibilities. We also mentioned in another podcast that we did a trial, which was for free, a combination of Make and I think it was Company Enrich. This is working as well. So it's about the strategy companies have to follow to enrich the data. But there are possibilities out there, and it's not so expensive as expected.
Yes. And also another thing was that HubSpot Insights was enriching company data. Now we have some contact data as well being enriched, which is good. I'm not sure actually about phone numbers in comparison to other data enrichment
Yeah.
tools that provides phone numbers. I'm not sure if they provide phone numbers. I have to take a look at that. But and along with that, we have data intent. So data intent is good, and they are really promising. I just saw a HubSpot admin event. They are really promised to bring new things. So if we are paying for something, I'm sure it will be worth it. So yeah, so that was the highlight of this week in terms of HubSpot. I think everyone was talking about that. To no surprise. And the other thing is as well in this kind of vibe of sunsetting things. Another thing will be discontinued, which is connect.com. So they had, for those who don't know, HubSpot had kind of a platform where you had rooms, let's say, with different topics or communities. And you could just post there. We usually use Connect a lot to promote white papers or webinars or just to share some ideas. And they decide, and it's not actually existing, it's existed for like a year or something,
Yeah.
more or less. And they decided to discontinue that. I think it's happening in June or July.
June.
June.
Mm.
And what they said is, okay, they are shifting all their community efforts to the HubSpot community. So I guess they had like two things to manage or something like that, and they are focusing on one big platform, which is already existing, but probably they are adding more stuff, which will replace Connect, and that's what they said. They are shifting completely their focus to the HubSpot community, and for their reason, they are discontinuing other kind of sub communities, which was the case of Connect.
I think it's a good decision really, because what HubSpot is doing all the time is they're trying things out, and then they see how it's accepted in the market. If they have a lot of volume, if a lot of people talking about that, because you also have Discord, you have Slack, you have tons of channels out there in the world. I think it really makes sense to test out new things and then take the best out of it and then bring it back to the academy or wherever you can find it. So there was a communication around that one, because otherwise you're getting crazy with all those different channels you have to post, etc. I think it's a good thing.
I think so. I mean, those big companies are doing the same as small companies are doing, right? We are always testing, and especially when it comes to marketing and community management, it's always a matter of, okay, let's have an idea. This idea seems promising. Let's test it, and it doesn't mean that it was a failure or something like that. It just means that we could learn from it, and it's always like you said, focus. Let's focus on something which we can grow and scale instead of being managing tons of little things here and there, which is counterproductive. So yeah, I totally understand this decision as well. And I think they communicated that yesterday or something, so that's really recent. Yeah, so what about customers? You have some highlights to share?
Ooh, I have some highlights to share. Yes, for sure. So what we are currently doing a lot is we are kind of a cleaning company now, which means as you know, we are offering our audit, and based on the audit, a lot of customers are asking for cleansing up the database. So we are cleansing the workflows, we are cleansing the lists, we are cleansing the contacts, the fields. So really everything. So for sure, this costs money because it's effort to look into that. But as an example, we brought down the number of workflows from one client from 80 to around about 20 now. There were a lot of issues in the workflows where you have often path or something like that. But the customer really sees the value afterwards, because then they know which workflow is really mandatory for their business, and that's always important, because over the time the system is growing and growing and growing. So just have a look at your lists or something. Everyone is doing a list, and but no one is deleting those lists afterwards. So and they're not used anymore. Maybe you just have a question, so to say, to the database, but then please after that delete them, because also when you look at the lists currently, a lot of customer has more than 100, and that's much too much. And yeah, this is what we are currently doing for 2 or 3 clients at the moment. So cleansing the database. Yeah.
And one thing is, there is a limit of how many active
Yeah.
lists you can have. So it happened before to one customer that I wanted to create a list and I couldn't, so I had to look in which lists I could delete or something like that. So if you keep that on track, you don't have to worry about.
Yes, and the other thing is, so for sure it's a one-off at the moment what we are doing at the clients, but it should be a regular improvement of the HubSpot instance itself. So my recommendation would be have an ongoing cleansing. So revisit everything what you have in HubSpot, and do a cleansing every 3 months at least, when you have time. For sure, it's time consuming, but you will save the time afterwards running a new workflow, running a new sequence, running a new list, etc. That's super important,
Yeah,
and it
and
makes fun.
I think that when you do like a big audit right now, when you haven't done it before, of course, it's time consuming. But then when you start frequently taking a look at some things, maybe some things don't need a deeper look every 3 months. Maybe others need that every 3 months.
Yeah,
And it's really not that big of a worry if you have that used to, take a look at that frequently. Then it's really not a lot of work because you keep everything on check. So I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's a good best practice that we usually recommend.
Agreed. Yeah, and based on the cleansing, we are also looking in the pipelines. So pipelines is another big topic. The customer sees then, because sometimes they are using the pipelines really as a project management tool, I would say. So to bring the customer further down the road. Um, and what is super important when what we implemented at one customer now is the conversion criteria for the pipeline stages. So that's possible for a longer time now in HubSpot. But what are the criteria to bring a deal from one stage to the other? It could be that amount is mandatory. It could be that they have to fill out some fields or something like that. So that's super important, and this is what you can implement per stage. That's good. And the other thing, which is a new functionality now, is you can say who can switch the from a deal from one stage to the other. So you can make this based on a team, or you can make this based on an
Permission.
owner. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry?
User permissions for the.
Yes, yeah, kind of user permissions, but in the pipeline itself, you can say, okay, who is allowed to move from 90% to 100? Because it could be that you need some information to send out an automated invoice or something like that, and
Yes.
that's really cool. That's a new functionality. I don't know when it came out. We found it out together with the customer. That's pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
and because you have to, there are so many updates in HubSpot every month and every quarter that even us, you cannot test it out everything, right? So, and we just were walking around in the pipelines, and we found that, and that's pretty cool to do that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Absolutely,
Yeah.
and you did that like you really used the automation to based on that criteria move one customer through the stages.
Yeah, not the automation, but the criteria itself you can do in the pipeline stage itself. You can say which property is mandatory to move to the next step. It's pretty
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a video about this one as well.
Yeah, yeah, why not? Why not? That's pretty cool, and I think that it's something that a
Yeah.
lot of businesses are using. I mean, most businesses are using pipelines more than life cycle stages sometimes. That's great. Another thing, which is as well kind of part of the sales processes, and which we implemented a lot in the last few weeks, is quotes. Uh,
Hmm.
so. Um, Codes usually are assigned to a specific company and a specific associated contact. And there's a lot of things that you can do within quotes. So you do have, I created a full 15 video. You can find it on my LinkedIn page. I think it will be posted today. And I walk you through the whole process of setting up. So there are some settings, some things that you can set up front, like expiration date, if a quote should be deleted, when a
Hmm.
contact or when the associated contact is deleted as well. If you want to predefine the total amount, the total contract value in the quote, or if you want to have only the quote amount. So those things you can always change specifically when you're creating the quote, but you can predefine them up front as well. And then there's the template. There's not a lot of options in HubSpot, but the options there are completely enough, I would say. So that you have like default templates, and then you have a customized template, which is called Flow. This is as well provided from by HubSpot. And there's tons of things you can do there. You can customize it entirely. You have global settings in the theme, so you can customize it in terms of font, in terms of colors, logo, the banner. You can choose what kind of information you are adding for information about the sender, the recipients, and then all the line items. And it's interesting that the line items as well can be kind of created up front with products, because that's basically products. So you create the products and you add them as line items to the quote. And then you have terms. And with terms, we found out something interesting is that there is a property, a quote property, which is called terms, that you basically write when you are creating the actual quote. And whatever you are creating that, you can also customize it with tokens, and it will show up in the template. But sometimes that is helpful when you have like general terms, right? So your terms are really the same for in general for all the products that you offer. You might want to personalize here and there. Again, you can use tokens for that. But when you have global terms, we definitely recommend that you use that token terms, which is again a property from a quote property. And then it's there, it's in the template. No one actually has to worry about it, right? When you have specific terms for specific products, then it would make sense that the person who's created the quote is actually selecting the specific term to the objects they created into the quote. And for that, you can create snippets. So it's interesting to see the amount of options you have. I go deeper into it in the video if you want to see it. And yeah, and I think it's a great tool that we have in HubSpot. And this is something now which came out, I think, this week, a new update, that you can bring as well quotes into campaigns. Not quotes, sorry, files. So I just remember about the files, because it's the sales process that you are a lot of the times in the sales sequence sharing docs, videos, playbooks, files, and everything which is under library right now. You can now add to marketing campaigns, and that's strengthen and even more the possibility to align marketing and sales and define attributions and stuff like that, not only with marketing assets but as well with sales assets. So that's a very new update, which is also very cool. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And always think, everyone who is listening, think about automating things. So when you have the quote, you can easily then create your invoice out of that. If you have the products and line items, so to say, in HubSpot. And then you have a fully automated process, because why we did this for the customer is they have automated prolongations. So you can put this in the deal, and then automatically you create a new deal out of that. You can automatically invoice them again. And then you have so to say, a recurring system up and running. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, true.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, look the amount of things you can do in just one system. You don't need anything else. Yeah, so another thing that I would like to share with you, I think I'm making probably a video about that anytime soon, is using the campaign influenced action. So basically, what we did not so long ago was, okay, I want to see how my leads are interacting with my content or with my campaigns, with my pages, and take conclusions out of that. So the conclusions I wanted to take out of that is area of interest. So, of course, we are a HubSpot partner. We provide HubSpot services from implementation to data cleansing to lead management to lead segmentation, nurturing, blah, blah, blah. So, there's tons of things that you might be interested in, right? And the way you are interacting with our emails, with our website pages, with our social posts is a hint for us that you might be interested in that topic. And that helps us then to nurture you further into that topic or to reach out and talk to you about that specific topic. So we wanted to make a process and a system that worked. And for that, we use the campaign influence. So campaign influence is an action that you can add as a trigger, for instance, or in a list. And basically, is gathering every lead, every contact who has interacted with any asset which is associated with a campaign in any point in time. So every time someone is clicking on a page or clicking on an email or opening up a file, so everything that you have in that specific campaign is considering the contact being influenced by that campaign. And what we did was we created several campaigns based on specific topics. Again, lead management, data, implementation,
Yeah.
training. And then for specific topics, we have specific assets, right? Every time we are creating one, you can associate a campaign. So if I'm creating an email about lead scoring, I'm associating that email to that campaign. And then every time someone is also website pages, by the way, and landing pages if you have your CMS in HubSpot. So every time someone is interacting, then they are re-enrolled in a workflow, and based on that we are setting the interest. So this is really cool. I know this, maybe it sounds a little bit complex when you hear about it, but once you see it, you see that it's really simple. It takes a little bit, of course, and then you buy considering that you can derive life cycle stages if you want. So I can show you that in a video. And I think that's as well a really, really good use case for everyone using campaigns.
Yeah, and it was a lot of effort, as I know. So you have to qualify all your pages, all the content, to make that happen, so to say. That's good. And I think that you created also a reporting for that, and the number we could qualify them now in the interest area is around about 60% or so.
Yes.
So we could qualify our database even further down the road to see the qualification of those guys and also see the interest. And that was amazing, really, because you are taking the buyer intent, so to say, what he or she wants to see, and then you can derive from there further campaigns. So that's really brilliant. I'm looking forward to see some numbers in the video then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because that's really recent that we implemented that.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that it's working, and then it's giving us some numbers. And now the next step is to really see, and of course I know, but to prove that the way your leads are behaving, and the way you are delivering the right content then based on that behavior, it's really having an impact. That's what I want to prove as well for our customers. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Do you have anything else you would like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, maybe one thing. So yesterday, our daughter company, so to say, Tarlox Sphere was founded. So they already won an award for KI, so Artificial Intelligence Innovator in Germany. So Martin Ansel is the founder and also a good friend now of us, for sure. And yeah, congratulations to that one. And we are doing really funny things with Martin and Tarlox Sphere. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Currently, we are working on a WhatsApp advanced integration into HubSpot. I will talk about this when it's out there in the market, but that's pretty cool what he's doing. So he's a crazy guy somehow.
Yeah, I mean, we are really doing out of the box things
Yeah,
in Talent Sphere. Absolutely. So, yeah, and we're really happy that Talix is growing into new horizons. So that's very good.
I love it.
We love it. Yes. All
Perfect.
right, perfect. So, I think this is it for this episode. A lot of things that we share here. Make sure to reach out on LinkedIn. We are there as well, me and Irving. And great. I guess see you next episode.
Okay, bye bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye bye.